Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Plant Fanatics. Today I'm going to be giving you 4 tips to maximize fruit production on your fig trees, so stay tuned. So when I'm talking about maximizing fruit production, I'm really talking to people that lives in zones 5 to 7, where it's a little too cold to be growing figs as actual trees, and we tend to grow them more as bushes. The first thing that you're going to want to do is actually cut your fig trees back to the ground. You can see here on my LSU purple fig that I've already cut this thing back to the ground. We're here in early April, and we're starting to get sprouts all over this thing, so you can see how this is going to grow. There's a little bit of dead wood still that I need to cut off here where nothing's going to be growing out, but you can see how it's actually going to start taking a bush form. And this is going to maximize fruit production because in colder climates, you are not going to get a breva crop like you would in a warmer place, which is that early crop. You're only going to get figs on your new growth. So you have to cut these fig trees back to the ground. They're going to probably die anyway, but that's just going to go ahead and give you a head start and not have to come out here later and cut them down. Just cut them down to the ground right in the beginning, and that's going to make it a lot easier to do point number 2 that I'm about to share with you. The second thing that you can do to maximize fruit production is actually going to be to mulch your trees. This has a couple of purposes. The first thing is to keep as many of these little branches alive as possible, to keep the base of that fig tree alive so all that new growth can come out and help produce lots of figs for you. But the other purpose that it serves is that it actually breaks down over time and feeds the soil. So this is a good way to feed your fig trees, which in the long run is going to help them have a lot more nutrients, which is going to help them produce a lot more fruit. So I actually get my wood chips from a place called Chip Drop. They come and drop it off. I like it the best because it's actually going to come with little leaves and everything. So some of that matter in these wood chips is going to break down faster than the wood chips themselves. Wood chips take a long time to break down, but I can tell you that whenever I first moved into this house and I was doing this garden bed here, the soil was absolutely terrible. It was a clay soil. It was hardly workable at all. Where I planted this fig tree, I did work the soil a little bit, put some organic matter into the soil, some compost. But now this soil is great. If I wanted to go and plant something in this soil, it'd be super easy because over time these wood chips and these leaves have broken down and made a very rich organic soil. So that's really going to increase your fruit production to have a nice healthy soil, which leads us into our next point, which is actually going to be a well-draining soil. You really want to have a well-draining soil where you plant your figs. They do not like to have wet roots. They are adaptable to a lot of different types of soil, but it has to be a well-draining soil, especially in these colder climates where you're going to be mulching over the fig trees in the winter. If it gets too wet, those roots are going to start rotting, the base of that tree is going to start rotting, and you could end up with a dead tree, which means no fruit, hence maximizing fruit production. Good, well-draining soil. And the final tip to maximize fruit production is going to be to pick a really good microclimate for your fig tree. Fig trees love full sun, and fig trees love lots of heat. That heat is going to help ripen those figs up and give them that nice sweet flavor that they have. So what you're going to want to do is to pick a really nice microclimate like this wall right here. This is a southern facing wall of my house. That's going to help those trees get a little bit earlier start in the season. They're going to start leafing out earlier, give them a little bit longer growing to help produce more figs in these colder zones. And this microclimate, even though I'm in zone 7, is actually more like zone 8 temperatures. So the fig tree does not tend to die back to the ground all the time. If we get really cold, like this year we got all the way down to negative 15 degrees. It was a little bit warmer in this area, helping to keep this fig tree alive. So microclimate is going to be very important in a colder planting zone in order to maximize fruit production. A dead tree is not going to give you fruit, hence maximizing your fruit production by keeping the tree alive. So pick a good, warm microclimate in full sun. So those are going to be my 4 big tips to help maximize fruit production on your fig trees. If you guys have any questions for me, like always, leave them in the comments. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. If you like the video, give it a like and subscribe to the channel and share with any of your friends who might need help growing their fig trees. Thanks so much for tuning in, guys.